All right. Well, good morning, everybody. First, I just want to say thank you to BayMag for hosting us at this incredible state-of-the-art facility. BayMag is one of the world's leaders in magnesium oxide production. For those of you who don't know, magnesium oxide is used by industries across North America, including everything from manufacturing and agriculture to oil and gas. It's used in cement, fiberglass, and pulp and paper. It's used to help keep cattle healthy and make fertilizer strong. It's used to help treat wastewater and remediate soil. In fact, about half of Alberta's oil sands production depends on BayMag's magnesium oxide for silica reduction in water treatment. In the heart of Alberta, with one of the purest deposits on Earth, this company has become a world leader. BayMag has worked hard to become even more efficient and effective, getting involved in everything from carbon sequestering cement to critical minerals and battery recycling. But our industries are being challenged now like never before. For the past decade, we have seen a litany of anti-industry and anti-development federal policies and rules that have attacked our country's most productive industries, caused significant amounts of uncertainty, and driven away much-needed investment in technology and innovation. They've added costs, decreased our competitiveness, and have worked to hang a closed for business sign on Canada's door, whether that be for LNG, oil and gas, or the other sources of energy and critical minerals that the world needs. For over a decade, this federal government has been full steam ahead on an ideological agenda to shut in and shut down our resources. These resources give us an advantage, and one of a higher quality of life, great paying jobs across our province and our country, and a strong and thriving economy. And now, facing obviously pressures outside of our borders, tariffs imposed by the United States are causing even more uncertainty, while of course having impacts to businesses on both sides of the border. As our Premier has said, nobody wins in a tariff war, and while we can't control the actions of our trading partners, we can absolutely control what we do here at home to make our economy stronger, more resilient, more efficient, and support jobs across our province. That is why we're here today, stepping up to help our major industries, which employ tens of thousands of people across our great province, to keep people working and to maintain industry's competitive edge. I am very pleased to be here today to announce that Emissions Reduction Alberta is investing up to $72 million to help industry grow, innovate, and remain world leaders in their sectors. They are doing this through two major initiatives. First, we're investing $65 million from the industry-funded TIER program to launch a new industrial transformation challenge. But turning big ideas into real-world solutions takes investment. Costs can be high, and new technologies aren't always commercially ready when they are needed most. So delivered through Emissions Reduction Alberta, this province-wide funding will help give our energy, forestry, agriculture, and heavy manufacturing sectors the boost they need to make important upgrades. By doing this, we of course can help them reduce costs, improve efficiency, create jobs, and reduce environmental impacts all at the same time. But we're not stopping there. Alberta is also a world leader when it comes to reducing methane emissions. I started my day at the PTAC conference out in Banff talking about our leadership when it comes to methane emissions reduction. I can tell you this, that nobody does this better than us. We have already reduced methane emissions by half, years ahead of schedule, and saving industry hundreds of millions of dollars as compared to an approach that our federal government would have taken while we did that. That's why we are investing more than $7 million into two new projects that will help take methane reductions to the next level, not just in Alberta, but by sharing that information, technology, and expertise around the globe. With this funding, SensorUp and Ambient will use the power of AI and machine learning to develop new monitoring and reporting systems for oil and gas facilities. These technologies can not only transform well site monitoring and reduce venting by up to 90%, but of course it helps us confirm our data and take that story around the world. We here in Alberta, we are the home of the big thinkers and the risk takers, the entrepreneurs who have made us a global leader in responsible energy production, hydrogen, petrochemicals, carbon capture, critical minerals, and of course magnesium oxide thanks to BayMag. So thank you very much for taking the time to be here today, and I'll now invite Justin Reamer, CEO of Emissions Reduction Alberta, to talk a little bit more in detail about how this announcement is going to impact our major industries.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Minister. Great to be here today to announce this third iteration now of our Industrial Transformation Challenge, an annual funding challenge now to increase the competitiveness of our province's energy-intensive industries. And I can't imagine a more fitting time to have this competition. I want to thank BayMag. Thank you so much for hosting us at their world-class facility. It's very fitting to be here because BayMag is partnering with ZS2 Technologies on developing a new process in chemistry for low-carbon, made-in-Alberta cement and a carbon capture and sequestration technology, and we're proud to be partners in that. So as the Minister mentioned, today ERA is committing $65 million to the third annual offering of this program, all because of the Government of Alberta's TIER Fund. These funds that are paid into TIER have enabled us in ERA to invest in technologies not only for large industrial firms, but for small, medium-sized businesses as well, who are often at the cutting edge of technology and innovation. It's enabled ERA to invest in transformative technologies like new geothermal technologies, or methane-detecting satellites, or drones that plant trees, or software that optimizes pipeline transmissions. And without this funding to de-risk a range of technologies, Alberta would not have had nearly the success that it has had in the commercialization and new businesses in the province that we have helped to spawn. We started the Industrial Transformation Challenge in 2022 to support our province's trade-exposed, energy-intensive industries, to make them more competitive, to make them more efficient, to make them more sustainable. Alberta's mining, quarrying, and oil and gas extraction make up a quarter of this province's gross domestic product, manufacturing over 7%. So staying competitive globally requires us to adapt economically, environmentally, and with technology shifts. Beyond just expanding global trade and market access, which is the talk of the town these days, we need to also accelerate technology adoption, invest in talent and innovation, and encourage partnerships between the public and private sectors to de-risk these large-scale innovations. And that's why we're here today. So in times like these, we need to be flexible. We need to adapt. So this spring, with our Industrial Transformation Challenge, we're broadening our investment focus beyond just projects that reduce carbon emissions, including improved water management, soil remediation, reduced land disturbance or use, and the reduction of air pollutants. Investing in these areas is crucial for environmental health and sustainability, but it's also important for economic resilience and competitiveness that we so desperately need in these times. So this call will remain open to new ways of producing fuels, breakthrough industrial process improvements, major industrial facility upgrades, agriculture and forestry innovations, oil and gas processing and refinement, and industrial fuel switching. Scale-up, pilot, or demonstration and first-in-kind commercial projects like this will continue to position Alberta as a globally competitive industrial leader. Now let's get into the finer details. The total funding, as Minister said, is $65 million. Successful applicants will be eligible for a maximum of up to $10 million per project, or $15 million if it's a truly exceptional one. There's a minimum request of $500,000, and it's important to note that we have a one-to-one private sector matching requirement. Industry needs to prove there's potential for market technology by having skin in the game themselves. And as you'll see on our website, all expressions of interest are due Thursday, June 12th at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And for anyone wanting to learn more, we'll be hosting a webinar on April 29th at 11 a.m. to dive deeper into the results or in details of this program. So the Industrial Transformation Challenge, we've already invested $100 million into 26 projects worth over $250 million in total value. If all projects proceed, that will lead to $574 million in GDP impact by 2027, not to mention thousands of jobs. This will continue to build on our portfolio at ERA with over $1 billion in investment in 300 projects, including here in Exshaw, and almost $7 billion of impact in GDP in the province. Minister, thank you so much again, not just for today's announcement, but for your sustained commitment and the Government of Alberta to keeping our core industries competitive on a global scale. With that, I would like to turn over things to our host, Chairman and CEO of BAMAG, Dr. Franks Spankholz. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Justin, for your really kind words about our wonderful location. We respectfully acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the following First Nations, the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Goodstoney bands, and pay our respects to their elders, both past and present. So, dear Minister Schulz, and all members of the government here today, dear Justin and the EI team, dear committee partners and friends, dear colleagues, welcome to BAMAG, Canada's sole producer of high-grade magnesia, a critical mineral for industries producing energy, food, clean water, and shelter. Thank you all for being here today for this very important announcement. BAMAG provides products with minimal environmental impact utilizing state-of-the-art technology. In fact, our previously finished expansion utilized a unique patent-pending process to increase throughput and at the same time reducing our overall energy intensity. Further, although times are very uncertain since the new US government took place, we are currently committed on a path of continuous capacity growth projects to support our customers, the Alberta economy, and job creation, and on top, ensuring our products are competitive on a global market. In addition to that, we have many ongoing sustainability initiatives at both our plant and mine site to further reduce our carbon footprint. Some of them are already co-funded. And having said this, funding from the ERA, such as that being announced today, is critical in helping industries across Alberta achieve their sustainability goals. Such funding supports investments in new technologies and upgrades to help reduce costs, improve efficiencies, lower environmental impacts, and gain a competitive edge in global markets. And therefore, BAMAG would like to thank the Alberta government and the ERA for such grants to support Alberta's industrial transition. Together, we can make Alberta even stronger. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now move to the question and answer period of this press conference. For media in the room, you can just line up at this mic here. Seeing no questions in the room, we will go to the first question on the line.
First question is from Sean Poulter from Western Standard. Please go ahead.
Oh, hi. This question is for Minister Schulz. What is the future of the TIER program, given some of the changes to the federal carbon tax? If there's any indication that they are going to keep the industrial portion of the tax, and given that the TIER program is mostly funded from the industrial carbon tax, would Alberta move to keep those revenues in the province if that's what the federal government decides to do?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so I've been very transparent with industry, largely because I think right now certainty in investment is a key focus for all of our major industries. With all of the uncertainty we see, of course, south of the border and in our trade relationships, but also from federal government policy, this has been a top-of-mind discussion about how we can ensure that we are keeping our major industries competitive and putting them in a position where they can continue to innovate and invest in both jobs and capital here in the province of Alberta. We have been having preliminary discussions with all of our major industries. The TIER program is up for review in 2026, and so we thought with all of the uncertainty we're seeing when it comes to tariffs, our trade partnerships, and of course this potential, the outcome either way of this federal election that's happening on April 28th, we wanted to be prepared. We wanted to understand what industry sees as valuable, what industry would like to see change, and how we can best support our industries moving forward. And so, unfortunately, Lee, I can't give a lot more detail on which direction we're going to go, because a lot of it, quite frankly, is going to depend on what happens on April 28th. I've been very vocal that I do support the federal Conservatives' position on returning these decisions back to provinces. The emissions reduction and environmental programs that we have are very much linked to energy development, which is an area of provincial jurisdiction. All of the federal policies that we have seen layered in on top of each other, from the industrial carbon price backstop to Bill C-48, C-69, C-59, which prevents our industries from talking about all of the great work that they are doing. The industrial carbon tax going to 170, that has been a huge challenge. And of course, clean electricity regulations, plastic bans, the methane regulations, and of course, our production and prosperity cap, which is what I have called the emissions cap. And so we obviously have to wait to see what the outcome of the election is, but I'll tell you this. The government of Alberta will continue to stand up for our industries, to talk about the great work being done, and to ensure that we can continue to provide the safe, affordable, reliable, and environmentally responsibly produced energy that Albertans, Canadians, and the rest of the world rely on. Some more to come, and TIER has had multiple different iterations since 2007 when it was introduced. I often say industry was doing the right thing for the environment long before this federal Liberal government came along. Will continue to do the right thing for the environment and for our economy, and we'll be there to support them every step of the way. So more to come on that, and depending on the outcome of the federal election, that'll give us a little bit more clarity on which path we're going to take moving forward.
Seeing no more questions on the line.
That was very fair. Can I ask a follow-up?
Absolutely.
Okay. What is the role of your department in these solar farm applications? We've had one here in Caroline, but apparently there's another one in Lone Butte there where they're talking about 1 million solar panels taking up something like 700 hectares. Do these things have to go through environmental reviews? Like, I understand that it's going through the Alberta Utilities Commission, and that's Minister Newdorf's department, but what exactly is your role in these things, and what's the position of the UCP government after you lifted the moratorium last year on these things? I think it was mostly focused on wind, but now there seems to be a lot of concern about the proliferation of these solar panels in various communities.
Yeah, it's a good question. First of all, I would say it was a pause, not a moratorium. It was a short-term temporary pause so that we could address some of the very real concerns that we were facing when it came to grid reliability, and of course, concerns around land management. Certainly in my previous role as Minister of Municipal Affairs, I heard that a lot. And so it was something that our government did seek to address right away and early on. My department works very closely with affordability and utilities to ensure that we do have a regulatory structure that addresses both our grid stability needs. Reclamation and liability is a key piece. It's something that we're also working on with the Alberta Recycling Management Association, ensuring that there is appropriate funds being set aside and planning ahead for what we're going to do when it comes to end of life, when it comes to wind and solar facilities. I think we've all seen the images of the solar panels or the wind turbines circulating around. We don't want to get into that position. We want to be a leader and start preparing the work on that front. So we do work really closely with affordability and utilities, but more question on how they're managing those decisions through the AUC should probably go to Minister Newdorf.
Seeing no more questions in the room and no more questions on the line, that concludes today's press conference. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.